All right. So welcome to the Dudecast, all you Dudely listeners out there. My name is Adam. I am your host. This is Skits. I'm joined by Cal, my co-host, and our special guest today is somewhat of an anomaly in that I don't think there's anyone else I can think of that I would actually do this with. Can you, Matt? I don't. So Matt is one of my best friends in the world from high school, and we've known each other, as we said, way too long. He's joining us from Portland, Oregon. Say hello, Matt.
Good to see y'all. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's get right down to it. Is Donnie real? No, I'm just kidding. Let's never bring up that theory. No, it's so weird. I was on Facebook the other day and someone said like there are 3 times the dude says something to Donnie in the whole movie. And he quoted all 3 of those just without other context. And I was like, yeah, people believe some silly theories. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, isn't that what you were saying? Yeah. Communication is not the easiest online. But anyway, so let's get right down to it. I was talking to Matt earlier about some interesting Dudeist topics. And well, I'll just let Matt, why don't you give the people a little introduction to your Dudeist life, your burgeoning Dudeist life.
Yeah, so obviously been a huge fan of the movie ever since, way back when. The Dudeism part was definitely introduced to me by Adam. I'd always sort of known in the back of my mind that, yeah, there's some kind of religion that, and I didn't know how seriously to take it and that sort of stuff. And then a couple years ago, Adam approached me with this idea he had to do this book, and it was all really fascinating and ways that I had never broken down the film before, and like really got me excited to like reanalyze all that stuff. And so for myself, I have gotten into Buddhism more recently as a part of my recovery journey for alcohol. So that's been a sort of a daily part of my life, is doing those kinds of meetings. And so I've been learning a lot of Buddhist principles and practices and those kinds of things. And from what I've looked into about Buddhism or about Dudeism, they're very close. They have a lot of shared principles, and I could see them being a very happy couple in terms of like a spiritual life.
Yeah.
Matt, so what's recently? The last couple months, have you been getting into Buddhism like the last year or so? What's recently been the time in like a spiritual journey isn't really one that you can like really keep on a calendar, because I can read 50 books in the next 30 days. Am I more spiritual? Am I more knowledgeable? Does that make it better than 5 years, 10 years? So before we get way into this, how long have you practiced?
So just a little over a year. And I'd certainly say I'm a slow learner. So it was, took a while for those ideas to sort of sink into my system. But it's definitely come up in circumstances in my life where I've noticed my reactions are different, my patience is different, in a good way. Like a lot of that's probably due to the meditation practice. And
yeah, dude, I just gotta push back on that. Like you're not fucking slow. I knew you from before that year and after that year, and that was like the most different Matt like I've ever known. Like, yeah, I think the meditation practice has been a huge thing. And that's probably the reason that I even thought to have you on here, because clearly you fucking learned something. You're like a way chiller dude, way more dude. So yeah,
it does feel like I'm embodying more of a dude. Yeah, a dude vibe.
Right.
For sure.
So this originally came up because on our last shroom trip together, sorry mom if you're watching, what we were talking about, a lot of Dudeist principles, like can't be worried about that shit, like literally just like letting go of the past and like looking at your life from wherever we are forward and just living in the moment. And all these other very, core Dudeist tenets. So, but I realize though, the real meat and potatoes of the conversation we'll get into the deeper stuff. But I know Skits has some questions that he likes to ask, and I think we should do those to start it off. So Skits, why don't you start us off with one of your questions?
Oh man. So one of my very, very favorites. If you could be in any scene of the movie, just as like a background character or a one or two liner, what scene would you be in, and what would your character be? And you can replace characters. So, like, if you wanted to be Gary instead of Gary, but you're more Hunter S. Thompson, I mean, whatever.
Gary'd be a good one. Man, that's a really good question. I'll tell you, the first thing that came to mind would be like a member of the bowling team, kind of like a Donnie, I guess, where you could just, sort of be the straight man, but also, throw in your lines and get some laughs, but also like just experience the wackiness that was their relationship, like Walter and the Dude, and then just receive their abuse every once in a while, and then kind of let it fall off you because you're just that way. You just chill. Yeah, I could see that.
Would you have lines, or would you just be the guy that gets like panned through, and then all the conspiracy theorists start up?
See, I enjoy the discussion around conspiracy type stuff. Certainly, people can be really like stupid with it. That's a thing. But certainly, I'm not sure if you're getting that echo.
I'm totally getting that.
Not sure what's about that. Anyway, okay. I think I would have lines to answer the question. I would want like really close to what his lines are, because I mean that character to me is really beautiful in its minimalism, and like all of his lines are important in my mind, and like in a way that some of the other characters might have some throwaway lines, but then some good ones. Like it's kind of more like quality over quantity type thing, I guess.
Got you. Yeah. Okay, how recently did you watch the movie? When was the last time you watched?
So the last time I watched was a year ago with Adam, actually, when we did our previous trip to Mount Shasta together.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Thinking about the last time you watched it, what is your favorite scene from then? Not your favorite scene of all time, but what is that fucking scene that you're thinking back to the last time you watched? You're like, God damn, that's such a good fucking scene.
The sort of intensity around the conversation when he first meets Big Lebowski, and like I guess it's not the first time. It's when they're discussing like, what does it mean to be a man, Lebowski, and just like the just somberness and like intensity of that scene. I don't remember being so like such a contrast, to like previous scenes and stuff. That I just loved it. It was the dialogue was so ridiculous, but the like music is so intensely serious. Like if you replaced it with different dialogue, it could totally be like a really super serious scene. But yeah, love it.
All right, well, I'm gonna go with one more, and normally I ask like broad questions like that one, but since I have a little bit of background on you, and I didn't prepare for this at all, with Buddhism, does that mean that you are on the side of us that does not need that deity to find that peace, or are you on the side of there might be something after?
So I was raised going to Lutheran church, which sort of never vibed with me, sort of never got behind the idea of God. Like, so I'm just supposed to believe that this dude did all this stuff. So that was kind of the early days. And then I sort of turned into an agnostic for a really long time. because that made a lot of sense to me. Like, who is so arrogant that they think they know the answer? It was kind of my take. I think I'm still somewhere there, but I also appreciate the just the power of intention these days now, and like the power of thinking yourself into, better situations, or, if it helps you concentrate on a certain, issue you're struggling with, or a certain thing that you need in your life, having those sort of like token beings is a great way to do that. Like, I can't knock people for doing that. And I certainly have been incorporating a lot more of that into my life. Like as years go by. And I, kind of get bored and do some research on like Hindu gods and Norse gods and things like that. Yeah. It's kind of been
I'm
evolved.
guilty of it too.
Yeah. It's super fascinating. I mean, it's like all the different creative ways that people come up with to describe the human experience and what it's like to live and stuff. Yeah, it's interesting.
You said it, man. Fucking name. All right. Well,
like that, Adam. What?
No, Matt, you wrote it down. What was the one we were last talking about before we hung up? You got to remind me.
Oh, am I the only one who gives a shit about the rules?
Yes. That was so fucking interesting to me. Like, because it actually is a section in the book. And I think I think one of the things I like discussing most about Dudeism are like turning little lines of dialogue into like greater, theories. Because it's like at a certain point you realize you only have 2 hours of movie to deal with, and a lot of it is music, so you can't draw a ton from that. So it's like we're stuck taking meaning from these smaller things. And I think that is one of those lines that like has so much to think about, and to kind of draw from. And you came up, I don't want to say what I came up with first, but you came up with something interesting, Matt, about how you saw that. And I thought that was, if you would share that.
Yeah, if I can remember correctly. After all, that was like 2 hours ago that we talked.
Right. Right.
Shit. It was basically, I think my reaction to it was that it kind of reminds me of like what it's like to be out in society again. And like, especially after COVID, it's kind of taken on a like multiplied, or sort of like an exponentialness to the situation of like social things that you used to remember how to do and now you don't quite remember. It's like, it seems like everybody's come out of this and are back in the world, and everybody has different priorities. Everybody thinks, that everybody else is fucking up their shit, and their shit needs to be like, they're the ones following the rules. That was kind of one of the, did I kind of get close to what I was saying before?
No. That was totally no. You're that was 100% it. And I was just laughing because I was getting this image of like one dude in like a big Walmart or something, one dude wearing a mask and just like, am I the only one out here who gives a shit about the rules? Just screaming about it. Like, oh man. Because it really was like everyone was wearing a mask. And then, nobody. Then nobody is wearing a mask. Like, okay. I guess, yeah.
It's just such an interesting thing, like to have a set of rules that make sense and we all should be following, and then people just like to argue, just that concept of having a rule for a thing is like becoming offensive now.
Rules are awful.
Right.
Yeah. No rules.
I mean, yeah, like unless we're all just going to be
politician that didn't instill rules and regulations and guidelines and instead took some away.
Right.
Something about that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But then like, some of them are good, some of them are obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like common sense is not
think of like
a common thing. Yeah.
It's not common, not at all.
Yeah, and that's
It's
the thing. Like,
term.
well, I don't know if it's good to teach my children this, but I feel like I'm being forced to teach them that like most laws are for stupid people. You know, like most laws are to prevent stupid people from doing something. Like at least road laws anyway. But like yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's just
they're being manipulated. Badges, guns.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying
It's
they're
all
the
a fucking
enemy.
show.
I'm just saying like there's too many fucking laws. And sorry, dude. I'm sorry. All right. Am I the only one who doesn't give a shit about the rules?
Right. But no, but that was just so interesting, Matt. Like it just sent me on this like mental tangent of like, yeah, like we are all walking around with like a slightly different set of meanings and values and like anything. And I personally, well, I think, you know, a lot of people do this, you know, intentionally, but like I realize I live in a bubble of like people who have pretty much the same values and the same priorities. And I do that intentionally. And then when I go outside of that bubble, it's sometimes a little jarring, like, oh yeah, like you're not thinking about the world the same way, or you're not seeing things. But it's like, you know, how do we react to that? Do we pull a piece out on the lanes? You know? Fucking Walter, it's very instructive. Skits does. He'll pull his dick out on the
hell
lanes.
yeah.
He'll do it.
Yeah, only in 21. I'm not going and talking to all my neighbors every time I move.
Oh god, that might be one of my favorite scenes. Like one of the first few times I watched it, just like is so perfect. Like the dude walking out of the house and then Jesus Quintana's face. And it's just like, oh god, it's just so awkward. And then they just cut back to the bowling alley. It was, oh man, I just remember thinking, God, that was so poignantly done, you know, as like a piece of filmmaking. Like just
And he's so quick. It's just it's there and it's gone. Like, yeah.
Right. It's one of those throwaway moments of the movie, but it was like just so, oh my God. They first set the scene with like, you know, the lonely suburban street, you know, and he's going door to door to tell everyone he's a pederast. Like, oh, and then you feel for Jesus in that moment, you know?
You almost do. Like, you get that, like, oh,
and
man,
then you're
that was-
reminded. 8-year-olds, dude. Like, oh my God, you know, you fuck one goat. Like, yeah. What are you with us here, Cal? You haven't said anything all night. Let's open up the floor to Cal here.
I mean, I certainly don't feel bad for Jesus in that moment. I did also want to say that as a public defender of many years now, that if laws are intended to stop stupid people from doing anything, they are failing horribly because stupid people are the ones who break the law all the time.
Right. Right. And it's funny too. Like I'll see like, you know, you walk into a store and there's a little sign about some like obscure rule or something like, you know, no cats on the carpet. It's like, oh shit, there's a story here, you know? Like,
One of the things they told us in law school when I was taking torts and we covered products liability, every time you see a warning on a product, it means someone was stupid enough to do that.
Someone taught me that a while back, and it's entertained me ever since.
Yeah.
To know that that's because there was a lawsuit, or that's because someone did that thing.
Yeah, and that's why we have more information available to us than at any time in history, but we have to put warnings on Tide Pods not to eat them.
What a fad.
oh my God. And like, you know, enough poor people gave their children plastic bags to play with as toys, apparently. Like I look around my children's room, I'm like,
yeah, we used
Sure,
to
they
call
put
it
it over
Space
your head?
Cadet.
yeah,
Yeah, let me know
put a
when you
rope.
don't feel the planet anymore.
Little rubber band around your neck. Yeah. I'm a spaceman. Oh shit. Okay, do not
My
try
parents
this at home.
taught
We
me-
got to put disclaimers on this. Say that again. Sorry.
Oh, dude, there's too many people.
You guys played with empty plastic bags when you were kids?
Well,
I
there,
didn't.
there was 9 of us. You got to remember that.
Okay,
9 of
fair enough.
we come from poverty. You know what I mean? You get the empty plastic bag. You get the wish sandwich. Take 2 pieces of bread, put them together. Wish there was something in between there. Heinz tomato soup. If you've never had that, get yourself about 50 ketchup packets. Salt, pepper. Awful. Keep you alive though.
Fuck.
That's
Yeah,
some,
that
that's
was.
some making lemonade out of lemons kind of stuff right there. Jeez.
Well, hey
Damn.
man, once you get into abiding, you always abide. After that, it is just keeping your head straight with a strict drug regimen, hanging out with your fucking dudes,
Yeah.
and every once in a while some coitus.
Ideally, yeah.
I
With your
was
lady friend.
having a blast in this random community Facebook group only saying Big Lebowski lines because this woman misspelled intimidate as intimate. And so I said, "You mean coitus?" She just goes, "Nope." That was her only comment. Nope. And then and nobody else, actually one buddy like did a laughing emoji at it. I knew he got it, but like nobody else on the thread had any fucking idea. And then some woman was like Sheldon, because apparently like on Big Bang Theory, that's a word that a character I fucking hate that show. I will go on record saying I fucking hate that show. Please do not talk to me about that show. But but apparently he says it a lot, and I was like, is that some kind of Eastern thing? There was, yeah. I urge you to try it sometimes. Just see how many relevant Big Lebowski quotes you can make. It's a fun little game.
I should have sent you the weatherman who incorporates lyrics that people like request for him to do. You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
I know that
Yeah.
guy. I know that guy. He's funny.
So good.
He's actually very
So good.
clever.
I'm glad.
But
I'm glad that
how many lines are there? Well, I guess he could use the dubbed version, talking about strangers in the Alps. And you know about that, right, Matt?
No.
So on the TV version, where so some TV versions, they take out swear words, but I think they must have decided the Big Lebowski just had too many to take out. So they replaced words. And instead of saying, "You see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass," they said, "Do you see what happens, Larry, when you find a stranger in the Alps?" Like, just apropos of nothing.
That's creative.
It's creative, but like,
that's
what the fuck is that doing to the movie? Like,
if you're seeing that for the first time, you're like, "What? Who made that choice?"
yeah. What?
Oh man.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. All right, we're gonna find a stranger in the Alps. All right, we're not gonna put it anywhere in the fucking movie.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well, anyway. Okay. What was the other one?
Stranger is from that.
The Stranger's what? From the Alps. There you go. That's it. That's fucking interesting.
That's the answer.
Shit. There it is. You know what I just realized though, apropos, to go on a random tangent, I think we should all take some time and to promote this podcast, find and rip out little pieces that we can put on reels and shorts. Like, it's super easy to do. Like, because it's YouTube, and then YouTube has YouTube shorts. Like, it, yeah. Anyway.
I am 44 years old. You're lucky I know how to log on to this shit. So
I'll send you an explainer, Cal, with like big circles, You just click this, and then you find the spot, and then you click that, and you're done. You got here. You're here. So
sounds like a lot
you can
of
do
work.
that. It's exhausting.
There's like the fucking huge buttons.
Why does green not work?
I just love Internet Explorer.
Oh man.
Next week.
All right. Well, hey, so I'm gonna pull this out of my ass here. Cal has been with us for every episode and listening to all this shit. Obviously the eye candy. But Cal, what is your favorite question to ask a random guest before? Because there's some more deep shit here, but what's your favorite question?
My favorite question to ask is when you're wanting to chill and really get to your dude state. One of the things that most people I think find helpful is to put on music. What kind of music do you put on to chill? Like what artists? What you listening to?
Love that.
So music is
Taking notes.
huge in my life, and I've had
Yeah.
a complicated like relationship with it lately. Having some mental health issues definitely like makes your desire to listen to music, or at least mine, kind of go away. So I kind of took some breaks from music for a while recently, and then coming back to it has been so enjoyable. Like it's kind of like rehearing shit that you know haven't listened to even for a month. It just sounds so great to hear again. Fuck, I don't know how to answer that question with specific bands though. That's a huge one because I've
Like, do you do playlists from like Spotify, or you have like a service make you a playlist or something?
you know, Spotify will give you like the mood mixes. So I go for like chill, pretty common sense. I could look at what chill has on my mix right now. Like
There you go.
Assuming it's like Johnson, Owl City.
nothing like that.
Do any of them even still make me? The
I don't
Eagles.
want
Fuck
I
the
don't
Eagles,
wanna
man.
judge.
I fucking hate it.
fucking hate the Eagles. That was definitely one of the
Oh.
things I related to. Crazy.
Okay, first of all, can I just say, do we all have echo cancellation turned on? If we do, great. Skits, I have a question. Sorry, I had something to say. Your response to that dude talking about the Eagles on the Facebook forum, I fucking love that. You were like, dude, this is the second time you are posting about the Eagles. If you want to like them, you can just go ahead and do that. You don't need to say shit about it. It was
so, like-
it was such a perfect, like, you don't need to fucking say this.
Okay,
I'm a
so-
fucking. All right, that's what the fuck I do, and you can't pot her against me. All right, I am the alpha fucking pot her. The youngest of fucking 9. You are not gonna get one over me, especially in fucking words. It's just not gonna happen. What kind of music do you like, Matt?
So having the list definitely helped. Bands like Unknown Mortal Orchestra, Alt J, Marabou State, My Morning Jacket, Krangbin, Bonobo. I don't know if I'm speaking gibberish or not. Washed
Oh,
Out.
100%. 100%.
Uh,
You could just be saying words.
Portis-
Like, I could just be reading off my thing, like file edit, 720p, speaker share.
But no, that's good. Anybody listening to that, any of those bands are apparently pretty chill. So if you like chill music, check them out. Not yet sponsored by any. We'll see what happens.
That would be a good idea.
So
Support
Control Alt Delete, Bar Scanner, say Nitro 5. If any of you guys want to be on the podcast, we'd be happy to have you guys too.
Oh, man. Nice. Okay.
So I want to add on to Cal's question real quick. So are you more of a, because I go through the same thing. I'm a failed musician, but I go through my fucking waves if I listen to music or not. I can't really sit at my house and listen to music. If I'm going to listen to music, I've got to be walking somewhere or in a car or something like that. Is that the same with you? Is the joyride your chill place?
Yeah, it's definitely in the car. That's a huge one. Just because then I can blast it, especially obviously. I do have now. I've got this most recent Christmas. I was gifted a pair of nice headphones, which I haven't had in like ages and ages. And I forget how much you're missing when you don't have some really sweet headphones and give you like everything the artist put on that track. You can hear every single, note of every little sound they make, and it's a totally new experience. So I've been digging that lately. It's been nicer out here in Portland, so I've been kind of out out in the yard and wearing those. That's been a nice way to experience it until my ears get too fucking hot. That happens super easily for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Nice.
once they invent one with like a little AID unit right here.
Oh yeah, dude. That's coming any day now. I just know it.
Well, the bone conduction, the ones that just go right in front of your ear, I hate these fucking things. The only ones that work with this setup. Those bone conductions, oh my god. They're not quite loud enough, but oh fuck, they're good.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to send me a pair of those, feel free.
I'd be down to try those too. Hell yeah.
Yeah, feel free to just send us like anything you want us to talk about on the podcast. We are all three of us corporate whores. We will whore out to any free stuff leaning company. So send it in.
Easily bought.
Yeah. 100%. All right. So Matt, first question of two. Did you have another topic written down you were excited to talk about? I felt like there was one more.
Well, there was a quote, but then there was also shout out to this dude, Reverend Ross on Reddit, in the Dudeism subreddit. He was posting some really great questions, and one of them that I really had like sent me off thinking a lot already. The question is, are there any villains in the movie? Is the lack of a clear villain why it's so great?
Oh.
They're all villains.
That's the thing, yeah. You could argue that for sure, and I think
that's a great question.
Where I'm like,
no, but there is moral ambiguity in every single one of them. You know, like Donnie, would we want? Sorry, what, Skits?
Except for Donnie. Donnie is an innocent angel.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Now that he's not
garbed. But yeah, no, I was thinking about like how every one of them has some, except maybe the Big Lebowski. I think because when I was going through, so this is interesting because when I was going through the characters as like inner citizens, right? Because it was always interesting to me in Dudeism how people have this dichotomy between like the dude and Walter, right? And it's just that either or, right? And I always thought that was kind of stupid because Walter's very dude throughout the movie, and the dude is kind of Walter, you know, in a lot of the movie. So I thought that was silly, and I thought to spell out kind of the dude and the undude of each of the characters. And it's one of my favorite sections. I had custom illustrations done because I thought it was a good fucking section. But when I came to the Big Lebowski, I could not really think of anything that like redeems him, you know? Even the Jesus is like, you know, he's a colorful character, you know, he's someone that you like, you know, he's kind of that heel, you know, he's a good heel. You guys, Cal and Skits love fucking WWF wrestling. That's what it is, right? WWF, that's still a thing?
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan?
WWE. Yeah.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Adam, we're going to turn this into a wrestling podcast. Sorry.
All right, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I regret bringing that up. I forgot Matt was also tip the scales. I fucked myself on that one. But no, I was thinking, okay, so to get back to the point, I think the Big Lebowski in the wheelchair might be the only one who has no redeeming quality. I mean, you feel a little bad for him at the very end, but anyway, discuss.
Well,
not true.
Would you not consider his foundation and stuff a redeemable quality? Like, he's supposedly, you know, raising money for these children of his.
Yeah, Donald Trump had a foundation, and he raised all that money and bought a fucking painting of himself. instead of giving it to cancer children.
What are they going to do with the
So,
painting
yeah,
of fucking
no.
Donald Trump?
Do you think Brant is going to work for someone who doesn't have some redeeming qualities? That's my question.
Yeah, he employs Brant. All right, that's all. That's the best thing that he's ever done.
That could be
Wow.
enough.
I can't
That could
argue
be
with
enough.
I
that.
know we've gone back.
Touche.
I know back and forth on if Brant is actually a good guy or a bad guy, but we can all agree that Brant is a solid motherfucker.
But well, he also gives Bunny an ample allowance, and if she can't live on that,
True.
that is her problem, not his.
Right. That's true. It's a very good point.
But now to us, thing happened.
And he never blamed anyone for the loss of his legs. Some Chinaman took them from him in Korea, but he never blamed anyone for that.
Very good.
Oh shit! But you know what? That's so funny you fucking say that, because I was just thinking today. Doesn't the Big Lebowski seem way older than Walter? But like, wasn't Korea like many years later?
No, dude. The Korean War was 1950 to 1953. Vietnam was 55 to 73.
Oh, Korea was before Vietnam. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm a dumbass. I stand corrected.
Yeah, Korea
Okay.
Korea was right after World War II.
Some
I
Chinaman.
think I would have known that either. To be fair.
I majored in American studies in college and focused on American history, so that's the kind of stupid shit that rolls around in my head.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Hey, I respect it. I respect the hell out of that.
History all the way until I flunked out. I don't remember.
So okay,
That's
I mean,
why
quick
Cal-
yes, no. What? Sorry, Skits. What? I keep fucking interrupting.
So, but that's why Cal's here. You know, Beauty and Brain.
Right. It's the whole damn
Well.
package. I need to shut up. Cal needs to talk more. But hey, then that just adds to the mystique. But okay, so back to the question, because that is a deep fucking rabbit hole that we can go down with, I think, every character. But like Maud, I realize there is a strong case to be made that she is kind of a manipulative bitch. Like she just,
Yeah, but she's kind of a kick-ass feminist in a lot of ways too. Wouldn't you say? Like,
it's true.
just like,
I think she makes many
Even
men
the-
uncomfortable.
I was gonna say she
But-
loves those vaginal drawings. That
Even the one thing you could point to as manipulative was her getting the dude to get, too thoroughly checked by the doctor, but ultimately that's to his benefit. I've never thought Maud was a manipulative bitch. I thought she was actually the person trying to make things right in the universe. Like, she offered the dude a rug that did not have sentimental value for her. She wanted to make sure the Big Lebowski did not get away with swindling money away from war orphans or whatever the shit they were.
Needy.
She
Urban
hung
war.
out with Knox Harrington, who was one of the most obnoxious fucking people around. Gave him somewhere to be. And she didn't even judge her stepmother for starring in the Beaver picture. So I'm Team Maud, actually. Maud's one of my favorite characters in the movie.
Maud,
Technically,
I
He supported her.
Yeah.
I mean, the only manipulation I can remember, if I'm remembering it correctly, was didn't the pregnancy thing, like, wasn't that kind of a surprise after they had sex? Like, she's rolling around and he's like, "Oh shit, what?"
He came in her.
But
Grabbed her hand.
I mean,
yeah.
You're doing it raw dog. I guess you gotta accept the consequences. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Asked and answered.
And every time I open the door to my house, I'm hoping there's a hot chick behind the door who just wants to fuck. And where it goes after that, okay, we'll deal with that then, but live in the moment.
I think it was 2 viewings ago I decided that my favorite line from the movie was, "That's my robe." Like, of all
Yeah.
the things you could have said in that moment. Like,
Why didn't she say that she was there to fix the fucking cable?
Well, she's not an expert on cable. That's why they called Carl Hungus. He is expert.
He is expert.
Yeah. But on a side note, though, Adam, because I also love that line too. I'm a big fan also of the Rocky movies, and one of my favorite moments in any Rocky movie is at the end of the first one. He's just had the 12-round or 15-round back in the '70s fight with Apollo Creed. Adrian comes into the ring and her hat comes off in the thing, and the first thing Rocky says to her is, "Where's your hat?" And I've always loved that.
It's so
But
real.
it is. It is. And I love something that seems like something a real person would actually say.
Totally.
Right.
I love that. Holy shit, that's funny.
Oh my! Well, that's the thing is like I think most of Maud's dialogue to me are things that no real person would ever say, but like she is so real as a character. Like she's this radical feminist artist just out there in the world, just strutting her breasts and body, and world be damned, like making her vaginal art that doesn't care if it makes men uncomfortable. Like. I think I have to agree with you. One of the greatest characters, in any movie is
If
Maud,
I
for sure.
looked like Julianne Moore did in 1998, I'd be flaunting that shit too.
Right? I'd be flying on some kind of suspended contraption to fling my paint at the floor. I love that part.
Man.
I was like, what a cool idea. Like, just to have an artist to be doing this wacky contraption through her place. Like, I want to know who came up with that. Like, this is what her art is going to be.
Right. No, that is just pure genius. Like, so much of that movie is just, it couldn't have been done any other way because it's just perfect. I don't know. But, okay. So it's 5:47. We don't have too much time left. I want to introduce it. Hold on. Unless anyone had anything to say about the villain in the movie before we go on from that topic. Because that's a great fight. We could use that again and again, actually. But I did want to say skits. Sorry, go ahead, Cal. Go ahead, please.
If we look at The Big Lebowski and we look at the dude as the ultimate protagonist of the movie, I'm not saying for sure this is true, but there's an argument made that Walter is the villain of the movie because he's the one who disrupts the dude's state of dude. And he basically drives the dude into the uncomfortable situation.
Leads him down an undue path. It's true.
Okay.
And he's an asshole to Donnie.
He's an asshole to Donnie, that's for sure.
Just non-stop.
And he hit a nihilist in the nuts with a bowling ball. Can you imagine how much that shit hurt?
Poor Flea.
Yeah, poor Flea.
They were threatening with a sword. I mean, a sword.
I fuck you. Fuck you. That's a really intriguing one. I think, my ultimate, like, spot that I landed when I was thinking about it a little earlier was just that it was so human of everyone to have these, like, hero and villain qualities. Like, but you're right. There is definitely like a real antagonist, relationship coming from Walter to the dude, but the dude's like, he still loves the guy. So like, there's something there, right?
There is an unspoken message here. It's fuck you. Leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, I'll be at practice.
As someone who lived through my first marriage, you can love someone and have them be the fucking villain in your story.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
100%. 100%.
Very valid. Well, Walter you're making a very good argument then.
Well, and that it could be argued that was one of the first movies to start the trend of like the sympathetic villain, like Loki in the Marvel universe or whatever, someone who kind of is a villain, but you're very sympathetic to them, and like with Walter, and at the end of the movie, even after all the fuck ups, all the things, it's like the dude forgives him, they just go bowling.
Which maybe that's like Walter's role is to, to constantly test, the dude's path and like his ability to stay on the path, like, because a lot of what I've been getting from Buddhism and meditation and shit and mindfulness is just that, I can't control what that guy does, like, so if I'm reacting, that's on me. Like, if I'm having a negative reaction, that's my fault. So the other person can do whatever the fuck they want. If I'm reacting in a bad way, that's on me. It's not on them. And it's sort of occurring to me that could be like maybe Walter's role, but that still doesn't mean he's not a villain.
Well, I mean, Matt, I really liked what you were saying because, Dudeism has its closest connection is to Eastern religions. And the common symbol in Eastern religions is the yin and the yang.
Right.
And it always shows you've got the dark side and the light side, but there's a little bit of the other in each side. Nothing is all one thing or the other.
Right. Which is what the dot's about. It took me a long time to realize that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this seems like a good opportunity to announce that I have decided that my next creative project, and no idea how fucking long it's going to take me, is to write the book that Skits inspired me to fucking write, which is the fucking Walter story before meeting the dude, the Walter in Vietnam. Like, maybe that's the fucking ending to the book, is when he meets the dude. Okay.
So you're hoping to explain like why Walter is the way he is, not more about their early relationship. Okay.
So I want to explain how Walter went from someone who was more dude-like but had a lot of Walter in him, and then Vietnam fucked him. Like, for real. Like, he is dealing with some real PTSD, and that's why it seems like the dark has overcome the light, but like the light is still there and always was, and that's why he's friends with the dude, because he recognizes the power of healing with someone like that in their life.
Yeah.
But
Not your ending. He's campus security trying to break up some people at some administrative building that they're holed up in, smoking Thai 6.
dude, that's good.
Which is like,
It's like fucking Snoop Dogg fucking smoke fucking. Dude, what are you doing in here?
Oh my gosh.
Holy
and maybe
shit.
somehow the dude convinces him to do a J with him. I don't know. That might be too far.
Well, Walter doesn't smoke weed in the movie.
No, but something that just occurred to me, because they give no background on how Walter and the dude know each other. For all we know, they like went to school together or something before the dude became the dude, and before Walter went to Vietnam and developed his Six Cynthia thing. They could have known each other years before, and we just don't know.
That's kind of the impression that I get, honestly, when I'm thinking about their relationship. Like, because that's the kind of relationship that you would allow to be so one-sided. You know what I mean? Like, to be so abusive on one side and so trying to maintain this chill on the other side. And you put up with the person because you, like, got such a history with them, kind of thing. That makes sense to me.
Oh, man. But that would be a good part in the book is who is Cynthia and what is his Six Cynthia thing, you know? And then, like, what does it mean growing up Polish Catholic, you know? So how weird was that to go, like, be a Jew, you know? I don't know. These are the questions, dude. But, like, why? That would be, like, I want to know the fucking story. So maybe I'll just, like, see if a story comes to me and then write it down. So that's kind of what I fucking did
It'd
with
be a
the
lot of
first book.
research, man, but it could be something awesome.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if I'm gonna do it, I don't want it to suck, you know. I gotta do the idea proud. It's a good fucking idea. And then I gotta send it to the Coen brothers and be like, hey, Can you make this into a good movie instead of whatever I wrote? You know,
Did you,
And if
I
you guys
have
want to
to-
call Mike Judge to help, I have a great creative vision for that as well.
that will. Why do you think we're fucking here, Skits? What do you think we're doing? Come on. So,
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying.
I
Like,
need-
okay, so I'm gonna get these fucking episodes up ASAP because I want people to listen to it, and then I want people to listen to this one and be like, "Oh, I have some ideas for that," and then see where this fucking
Listen to this
goes.
one
It's
first.
crowd. Say it again.
I said they're going to listen to this one first. It's going to be the most popular. It's going to pop up first. Like, that's just how it's going to be. So, yeah, now you guys have to go back and listen to the old ones. Yeah, what we
There
already
you
talked
go.
about. Remind us.
There you go. Talked about a bunch of
way
shit.
worse.
Oh man. Anyway, well, okay. Last few minutes, since Skits got the first questions, let's let Cal do the last questions. Let's fucking flip this episode on its head. Cal looks like he doesn't have a last question ready to go. You got your mute on though.
Hey, I asked my question. It's on you now, buddy.
All right. Last question. Matt Cronji, what is your favorite thing about Dudeism?
I would
And then we'll ask
say
Skits' ending question.
it's encouraging you towards peacefulness, towards like a sort of calmness that I think a lot of people are grasping for in life in a lot of ways, and just have no clue of how to access it or like if it's even possible for them. You know, I myself have ADHD. I know so many people with ADHD, and the concept of being calm is a tough one. So like kind of knowing that it's possible is mind blowing in the first place, but like to have a whole, working like set of guidelines to help you achieve this way, in your day-to-day life, that's a beautiful thing. Can't complain.
Fucking A.
That was an amazing. And I'm going to be honest, I was really hoping that you were going to be like, the shit. I got so sick of fucking wearing uncomfortable fucking clothes. Now I just wear whatever the fuck I want.
I mean, I was definitely super like OCD about my clothes when I was growing up, and would be really critical of that shit. And that it's a much better life to not have that going on. Oh my god, yeah. Just a lot of like self-consciousness just gets in the way of so much happiness, I feel like. So that, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I was raised Catholic, and that always put a fear in me that someone somewhere was thinking that whatever I was doing wasn't good enough. And that was one of the things with Dudeism was it taught me if I'm comfortable, if I'm at peace with what I'm doing and it's not negatively affecting my life, then just fucking roll with it. And it's put me a lot more better headspace.
Yeah. Take out that self-critical voice that can be so detrimental to your life.
Grass grows by itself. Don't worry about that shit. Life goes on, man.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
I wear nothing but a kilt and a bathrobe to my local dollar store weekly, I would say. Why? Because, man, I'm just getting juice and a pack of cigarettes and a book of raps, man. Like, I'm not walking my daughter down the fucking aisle. I'm not going to a job interview. This isn't even a weekday. Let that shit go.
I did look at my notes, and I remembered one of my other favorite quotes I just wanted to mention when dude is with Bunny, and she's like, Willie doesn't care about anything. He's a nihilist. That must be exhausting. I think that's one of my favorite lines. Just the nihilism.
Oh my god, dude. Thank you
So
for fucking saying that. Because I was literally just thinking, what was the line we were laughing about at the waterfall in the morning after that, the night that we tripped. And I thought it was the funniest goddamn thing. And it was that line. It was like, oh, that must be exhausting. And it was just, thank you. So, question answered.
If that
I imagine
Anyway.
to play this out. Are you ordained through Dudeism? If not, do you plan to be? If you are you doing anything with it?
I plan to be. I have the website pulled up literally on my other tab here. And I'm glad I was reminded of it by Reddit because, yeah, I had totally forgotten that was a thing and totally down. I think it would be really, if nothing else, like just a nice addition to my spiritual practice and like to make it legit in a sense, like makes sense to me.
Hell yeah. And I could totally see you officiating a wedding, you know.
I would love to. Are you kidding? Yeah. That'd be amazing.
So much fun.
There would be so much.
How many have you done skits?
I think I'm on like 6, 7, something like that.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, because there are no rules. Okay, so like you can sneak the entire, everybody except for the bride and groom. Don't let them know. Give everybody party poppers, right? And just tell them anytime I'm talking, feel free to let these motherfuckers off. All right, don't do it while the bride and groom are talking. That's rude. But while I'm talking, you're just fucking bored with what I'm saying. Just let this bastard off, with no clear intent on what's going to happen. So, and then as soon as it starts, well, now you've got to, make something up. So just start drinking every time somebody does it. Have beer with you. Got to drink during it.
I love it.
Have a secret confetti cannon stuffed into your kilt because you wore a kilt without telling anybody you were going to. I pull it out right after you announce them.
Bro.
If it's cold, marry in a park bathroom. I've done that as well.
There you go. Holy crap. There's just like a playground of fun that you can have with that. That's so great.
You just abide with being happy.
Right.
Well, skits, you got to write, even if it's a fucking pamphlet, you got to write the skits guide to Dudeist weddings. Like, that's just rad.
I got this. Yeah, anybody listening, find me on TikTok at BirdShadowDude. I'm going to put up some videos. That's a great fucking idea, Adam.
Hell yeah. You've given me enough, bro. But I'm serious. I'm excited to write this book. Like, I gotta write the story out first. But like, it's a prequel of Walter in Vietnam, and it's just going to be an average hero's journey. At first they resist the call to action, and then they can't, help. He can't help but go to Vietnam. He can't help like who he meets. It's like a Forrest Gump story. That ended in Bubba Gump. This ends in, some fucking bowling and. Flashing a piece out on the lanes.
Except he's not involved in every major historical event that happens during the period of time.
Literally no historical events. He's far away from anything significant. Oh
my God!
Oh man, he should be. He should be watching Forrest Gump on TV, like playing in Alabama and like, like getting the Medal of Honor or whatever. Oh man, that'd be good.
I was gonna say, what if he went to war but actually never saw any combat and just is like secretly that's why he's so angry, is he never like got to get any actual like valor from the war.
Literally an hour late every time.
No, okay, so I'm toying with this idea. I'm still open to that. And like maybe talking about his buddies dying face down in the muck was like they died of a heart attack or something, like something unrelated.
I can't remember the previous episode or one of our meetings, but Khaled said something about like running a warehouse or inventory or something because he owns a security shop now. And
yeah, like he was running with equipment or something, because there was a study I read that the more people talk about combat experiences, the less likely it is they actually saw combat. Because most people who would have seen combat to the extent that Walter talks about are so traumatized by it that they don't talk about it as much as Walter does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. If you were truly
Well-
affected, it would be something you avoid. Yeah. Oof, this is making a lot of sense psychologically, man. Like,
It is. Well, okay, and I've seen those videos of like people coming back, arguably it was from World War One, but like shell shocked and like literally like can't, control themselves when presented with anything that reminds them of combat.
yeah,
So I totally hear the validity in that. But I think like something changed him, something traumatized him, and maybe it was that he looked up to the people in actual combat and then they died. And then he idolized them and their memory by kind of like becoming them and like maybe what they would have been if they didn't die. I don't know. Do I sound
yeah.
stupid?
No,
I
that sounds like a
I think we
great.
said at one point in time, like him getting hurt in training or something, or like right before his entire platoon died, or you know what I mean? Honorable discharge or medical discharge, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could all be just a huge survivor's guilt thing. Like, that's the whole reason for the rage is that's how it's manifesting.
Well, and then with Vietnam, if you've got the survivor's guilt, you've also got the people who actually were in the field and in battle, and then they came back and they were spit on. They were treated like shit when they got back. And that would have driven a lot of rage in Walter that to him, these men were heroes, and they come back and they're treated as the villain in their own country.
That would be a reason for a lot of rage, for sure.
Bro, maybe that's where he and the dude meet. Is like the dude is like, with some people that are like treating veterans terribly because, they're all peaceniks, but like he doesn't say anything. He's not really about that. And then Walter takes offense to it and he tries to explain it and then they end up understanding each other and forming a friendship. I don't know. There's some fucking possibilities to this fucking story though, But I'm gonna go with whatever Skit says. So if he's shaking his head, I'm not gonna fucking write that thing down. So
That was very, very PBS.
it's
Like,
well,
and then
I
they held
grew up
hands.
watching a lot of fucking
Did you-
PBS, bro.
I did too.
Don't
and
expect
that's
me
not
not to be
real life.
influenced.
That's so fucking wrong. Right?
Oh
Sharing,
man.
sharing doesn't work in the drug world. It just doesn't. All right, guys, we got to cut this off. Matt, do you have any closing statements? No questions. We get off in tangents. Any statements?
Other than thank you very much for having me and appreciate the space to discuss this stuff. I'm stoked to watch this progress and yeah, glad I was able to be a part of it.
Hell yeah, man.
All right.
Well, I say we
With the,
set it, we set the clock for a year later and see how much Dudeism has changed your life in a year. That'll be a good discussion.
I like that.
Maybe that.
I'm down.
All right. As an officiating dude, by the power vested in me by the Church of the Latter-day Dude, a stranger, currently the state of Indiana and the state of confusion, I now pronounce this podcast over. I'll see you guys.
Peace out. All right.